I'm up on our, I guess would be our front deck, because it's the door that we go into our apartment with. This spot is so cool. You feel like you're in the rainforest. The trees are so tall and just bright green, and you come out here and you're looking basically like, it looks like a jungle out there. And today it especially feels like you're in the rainforest because it's raining. And on this rainy day, I have an awesome rainy day project for any of you future or current homesteaders. So we have this perfect rainy day, and I need a good rainy day because there's so much to do outside, you know, that calls to you every minute. But now it's raining, I can't work outside, which means today I'm going to be working inside on a project that I've been thinking about for some time, but I'm actually going to start today. What we're doing today is a very important step for any of you future homesteaders, or even any of you current homesteaders who aren't running, who are maybe unhappy with the way things have been going on your homestead. We're going to head into an office, grab some office supplies. Just finished raiding my in-laws' office for supplies. The nearest Staples is like 40 minutes away, so it was very handy to be able to get the supplies I needed for this idea. Thank you for that. Whoosh, there it is. And now it is time for arts and crafts. Whoa, dude. It's just a binder. Relax. Easy on the B-roll there, McKinnon. Just a binder. Yeah, it's not that cool. But the point of this binder is pretty important, and what we're gonna do with this is actually gonna be a project you'll see us working on over the next couple weeks, maybe even months on the channel. And I invite you, the viewers at home, to follow along. Get your own future homestead, or even if you have your current homestead, but it's not up to snuff, get your own current homestead binder and get ready to do some homestead planning. Let's talk about what this is for and what we're gonna do with it. But first, a latte. Accountant Mike and Lily, thank you. They got us a Nespresso machine, and it has been a wonderful, I'm on cup number 3 today, which is actually better than where I was at. Yeah, this machine is great. Anyway, let's talk about planning. My binder. This is going to be the farm plans for 2018, this new homestead, this new farm. I'm gonna lay it out in this binder. Our last farm kind of happened by accident, and so the farm we wound up living on was not the farm we would have planned if we had planned it. But we didn't. We just kept saying, oh, why don't we get chickens? And oh, why don't we get goats? This is Farm 2.0, and it's a chance for us to do it completely different and hopefully a lot better. No doubt we will still wind up doing things wrong and making decisions that later on down the road we will change. That's just life in general. But I want you to think about planes. Think about planes. Every day, planes take off from an airport in New York City, and they land in the exact strip in California where they plan to. And the reason why they can take off in New York City and land in that exact strip in California is because they planned the path there. And homesteads are no different than planes in that one very particular way, in that if you have a destination clearly in mind, a place you would like to be in a year, 5 years, 10 years, if you make a plan there, you can wind up exactly there. And if you don't, well, you will not wind up there. If there's no plan, who knows what will happen. Kind of like our last farm. So in order to prevent you and us here at this new homestead from winding up somewhere we don't want to be, plans. The very first part of this project starts with our dream homestead. Mood lighting. That doesn't translate super well. We put twinkle lights up. That's cool, right? Anyway, your dream homestead. Your future homestead, the plans for it, they need to start with dreams. A very long time ago, I took a class. It was about manufacturing. The teacher of that class, you know, Uncle Bourbon. Look for him in the comments below. In that class, we were taught how the manufacturing process works, how things get made. And it didn't start with like plastic is melted into molds. It started with brainstorming, because a lot of the amazing ideas you see in the world around you started with a brainstorm. Now, this might have been a big collaborative brainstorm that a lot of people sat down and started officially, or it just might have been a doodle on a napkin at lunchtime. Both are brainstorms. In this class on manufacturing, Uncle Bourbon taught us about how to have a good, successful brainstorm, how to use creativity to fuel good ideas, how to make good ideas flow freely. And there were a couple rules that we learned, and I love these, the rules for brainstorming. There are no bad ideas. No ideas are bad in a brainstorm. You throw out every idea that you have, there's no negativity, and that's pretty much it. It wouldn't be a very fun brainstorm if there was a lot of rules. Essentially, the idea is just get all your ideas out there, get creativity flowing before you start shooting stuff down. So here in this binder, oh man, I forgot the binder. Anyway, you saw it. When you start planning your future homestead, instead of being super practical and saying, well, we don't have enough land for cows, I want you to think about your dreams. If you had no limitations money-wise, if you had the perfect land, if you had everything you wanted, what would that homestead look like? Write that down on paper and put it in your binder. That is where you start this entire planning process, your dream homestead. If there were no limitations, if you could do whatever you wanted, what would that homestead look like? What would be on the homestead? You need to get specific here. What livestock? How many acres? The reason why is because it will come into play later when you're actually planning your homestead. Here's an example of a bad dream page in the binder. My dream homestead is a place where I live with my family and we're totally self-sufficient. Bad job. Here's a good example of what a dream homestead would be. This is my dream homestead. Ready? My dream homestead is thousands of acres, 2,000–3,000 acres. It's just huge. Most of that land is used for hunting. Hunting is one of my favorite things to do on the homestead. And so most of that land is just wild woods. There's a couple hundred acres of managed food plots that attract deer, turkey, all sorts of wildlife. I have trails running through those thousands of acres. That way I can actually use them when I go hunting. I can take trucks through the acreage. I can take gators and four-wheelers. The actual farm on that homestead, well, that farm is only about 100 acres. And that farm, I have lots of fields that I use for larger livestock. I raise all my own meat. I have good solid fencing. I have water wherever my animals are. It's frost-free water, so I don't have to worry about pipes freezing in the wintertime. From this homestead, I am harvesting every year all the meat that my family consumes, all the different kinds of meat. I'm getting pork, I'm getting beef, I'm getting chicken, I'm getting goats, I'm getting sheep, all that yummy, delicious meat that I enjoy. And right there on the farm, I'm able to process it myself. But I don't process it all myself. I only process the things I really feel like processing, and everything else I take to the butcher who is local to me. Yes, even your surrounding town and facilities need to be part of this dream. Your dream homestead, you should think about all the different aspects of this dream homestead. Take a few days, write them down, take a couple notes, and then put together just a one-page essay about your dream homestead. And if essay sounds boring and awful, put down a one-page beautiful description, whatever you want to call it. The point is, start your planning process out with dreams, because your dreams will show you what you would like no matter what. I will like 95% chance never own 2,000 acres. But it shows me that I desire a large acreage over a smaller one. And when I had to choose whether or not to stay on my 10-acre homestead in Connecticut or take over the 100-acre family homestead here, it made that decision easier. And that's the whole point of this dream idea. It's to help you when it actually becomes decision-making time. You see, this is not just some like Zen process where we're picturing our favorite imaginary homestead with the idea that the universe will then give it to us because we've imagined it in our brain. I don't think that's how the universe works. Instead, this is actually an exercise to help us with decisions further down the line. I know in my dream homestead, hunting plays a predominant role, so does meat production. You'll notice I didn't mention anything about vegetables. That's because I don't really enjoy gardening that much. I don't get much from it. It's not an experience I love. So how will that help me make decisions here on this homestead? Right now we're planning what to spend our time with here on this homestead. And a lot of people have said, plant some vegetables, get some trees in the ground, get some tomatoes in the ground, get some potatoes in the ground. And those are great ideas. And if you like dealing with vegetables, then put them in your dream homestead and put them in your plans for this year. But this year on this homestead, I don't have a whole lot of time to tackle all the big projects that we want to get done. We have lots of fencing projects to do. We have lots of land management stuff that we want to do. And then just like getting things organized and moved in. Time is limited, resources are limited. And so when I have to decide, what am I going to do this year? Am I going to put a garden in? Am I going to plant an orchard? Or am I going to work on fencing for cattle? Well, I think you already know the decision I'm going to make. On my dream homestead, there was no mention of vegetables. There was plenty of mention of livestock. And so obviously this year we're going to work on fencing, water, infrastructure for livestock because that's what we enjoy the most. And that's the point of the dream homestead exercise, is to point you in the right direction for when you actually have to make those practical, logical decisions later on. It also will help push you forward in developing the homestead that you want. So start with this exercise. If you're trying to plan the perfect homestead for you and your family, it's going to be very different from mine. Get yourself a binder, get yourself some dividers, some paper in that binder, and just begin, like I'm going to do over the next few days, with getting down the idea of your perfect homestead. What do you do next? How do you start planning to create that perfect homestead, making it a reality? We're going to be continually mentioning this binder and this planning process in upcoming videos. And I'm going to start a playlist all about planning the perfect homestead. The perfect homestead playlist should show up right here. It's going to guide you through this process of planning the right homestead for your family while we plan the right homestead for our family and make it a reality. If you are joining me in this process, in the comments below, tell me when you get your binder, tell me where you start your perfect homestead, and maybe we'll have you email me your write-ups and I'll share a few on the channel next week, okay? So go ahead and do that. Email Aust@thisishomesteady.com your write-ups.